My name is Leanne.
Hi everyone, my name is Jorge.
Hello, friends, peers, peer counselors.
I'm Jocelyn.
Hi, my name is Brenda Reyes.
What was your favorite part about being a counselor or just about camp in general?
My favorite part of camp is getting to relive what camp would be like if I was a child, or like if I was a camper myself rather than being a counselor.
This may seem obvious, but we go a lot of places at camp and we do a lot of fun things, but it's always going to be the campers that are like the best parts about camp. They say the most out-of-pocket things sometimes, but you make the most incredible memories with them. You get to see so much about their personalities, and it's really fun to see them like grow up if you happen to like return. Yeah, the campers.
My favorite part about camp was making connections with campers. Anytime you can like find a shared interest, or they request for you to play a song and you're like, oh, I love that song, or like you complimented something and then like they draw something for you and you're like, oh my god, thank you so much. Anything like, or you make them laugh, like any connection that you can make with campers at any time, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like, oh, I'm doing it. Like when you can sort of see them like recognize you and be like, okay, like you're pretty cool, because like you found something together. I don't know if that made any sense, but it makes the job fulfilling to like have those things with as many campers as you can, just like connecting with them.
My favorite thing was walking, all the walk we did in camp, because one of my hobbies is walking, and I really got to enjoy that we were out and walking long distance, even if the kiddos didn't really like it. Except Ann Arbor has a lot of hills. It just added to the challenge, but it got hard at some point.
Do you have a favorite memory with the camper? And of course, what is that memory without sharing their name?
In regards to camper memories, there are two campers I would say that really like stick with me throughout the years, because I have been doing that the last 2 years. So this is my first year not doing camp counseling. Anyway, the first I don't know what really, there wasn't really anything specific that happened, but we just like bonded. And then after like every single morning as a greeting, they would just like run up to me and they would just like tackle me, not to the ground, but they would just like tackle me in like this bear hug, and they would jump on me and I'm just like, hi. It was very just like a warming thing, and I was like, some of my favorite ways to start the morning. And then the other camper, we got a lot closer like this past year because we bonded over what Ann Arbor calls the summer game. Keep that in mind. That's gonna be important for you guys later. But this camper was very much into the summer game, and they got me into the summer game. I was hooked, and we were just sharing codes that we saw. And it got to be like a very good daily tradition of ours to just share everything that we saw, everything new, help us get the prizes, and you know, happen to see them every now and again, and it's very nice to do.
My favorite memory with a camper is when it was sort of a group of campers, but they taught me how to make bead lizards, which is a big thing last summer. But I didn't learn how to do it, and it wasn't actually until like the last week of camp that sorry, there's a cat here, I don't know if you can see her. It wasn't until the last week of camp that I learned how to make bead lizards, and it was because some counselors taught me. Campers, I'm sorry, I got distracted by this cat. But yes, my favorite memory was when some campers taught me how to make bead lizards, and like in return I taught them how to make these like string lanyards, and we were sort of like learning how to do new things together and teaching each other, and yeah, it was just awesome.
One of the nicest memories I have is when campers would give me drawings or notes dedicated towards me. I thought that was really sweet.
My favorite memory with the camper, and there might be photographic evidence of this somewhere in the Apple Play Schools cloud, is one of the rotations that we did where I was in charge of, it was like a relay race that they had to put on like some sort of article of clothing, so like big old boots, some sort of like skirt or pants, and then like a button up like jacket or whatever, and they try to run back and forth. And then I just had the idea of like, hey, what if we race against the teacher? That kind of spiel for them. But with one of the rotations, we actually did a fashion show rather than the relay race. And they would put on their best like combination of outfit and just like walk in some sort of pose afterwards, and I would just like with my phone. But that right there is one of my favorite memories, if not the favorite memory that I have with my group of kiddos. I also will miss them, and I'm very sad I won't get to see them, but it's okay. I'll live.
What do you think was something that you would like to have been warned about, or like what's something that you think can be improved upon?
Something that could be improved is when you're getting ready to go places from camp, so like you have all the different groups, and it's sort of like sometimes everybody is trying to get water at the same time, everyone's trying to get snack at the same time, and then you're leaving and then it's like, oh, we're going to the same park and we hadn't thought that through. So I think just like communicating with everybody all the time about like small things too. So like, and figuring out systems and structures for how to like, just for avoiding like holdups or miscommunications that could have been avoidable. So yeah, like obviously you'll be communicating with your co-counselors in your group all the time, but it's also super important to communicate with the other counselors and the other groups, because like you will be in the same spot and like going to the same places. And I think it can just make things easier and a lot less stressful if everyone sort of has an idea of what's going on with everything. Yeah.
I would say we all try to help each other out and get the job done, but just like everywhere, communication is a weakness, and there was times where we would assume we did things or that the other person did it, and it would just be kind of complicated. For example, on like texting that we're leaving site, or if we are arriving site, or if there's a parent picking up a camper, small stuff that it wasn't assured who was gonna do it, but at the same time we wouldn't ask.
Whatever you do, super important. If I'm just begging you, start every session with a group meeting and go over expectations and how we expect to treat each other. This literally sets the tone for the entire rest of that session. It's understandable things get missed. I'm just letting you know. If it does get missed that first day, it's an uphill, work to like reestablish the boundaries of keeping everyone safe and having fun. It's possible. It's just a lot of work.
This totally isn't really like anyone's fault because we can't control the weather. But when we had to cancel our plans of like going offsite or doing an excursion somewhere and have to stay inside the church, of not really coming up with a plan of something to do, because that really made both the kids like anxious, and that obviously, I don't want to say spreads, but that's the only word that's coming to mind. It like carries to the counselors as well. So we feel that anxiety as well of just like, I guess, being grounded into one place and not having a set plan of what to do. So, and I know this is kind of a lot for you planning to do stuff outside, but having a plan of, or like a backup plan of things to do inside also would be beneficial to the planning process should you need it. But that is my hot take.
This wasn't so, like, I didn't experience this very much, but I know that some people felt it. If there was a way to keep people accountable for the work that they were or weren't doing, and it obviously it comes down to like what you're comfortable with doing, but like obviously the session activities need to be planned, most of them at least, like the day-to-day excursions. If there's like a big trip, like going to like Argus or something, like that's a planned activity that like Kenji will coordinate, so you don't have to worry about it. But everything else, like making sure the activities get done or things like that, I feel like some people took on a lot more of that planning load than others, and that implementing load. And I know some people had felt like the work wasn't necessarily like distributed evenly, I suppose. So if there was a way, to just keep everything like accountable, maybe have like a rotation of like head lead counselors versus like supporting or like planning the lead activities and then leading those activities as a vice versa thing. I don't know, just spitballing. But
Of all the camp traditions we have, which traditions should we keep?
Definitely keep the s'mores at the end of each session.
S'mores are like a great thing that I think the counselors and campers both look forward to. Me personally, I love the s'mores.
I love s'mores. You'll see why. You'll see why in a couple, what is it, days, weeks. Whenever you see this, at some point when you have the rotations and there's a bonfire and there's s'mores, I love the s'mores like rotation with the kiddos. Of course, you have to let them eat first. Don't just like, you know?
please keep the end of the session water gunning of the counselors. That is something I feel like a lot of the kids know what's coming, especially if they're returners. But it's still a lot of fun for everybody because, like, you know, throughout the 2 weeks or a week that the session is how long the session is gonna be, you know, they're listening to the counselors, they're still playing and stuff like that, they're exploring nature, whatever, but they're still listening, you know, and at the end of it, it's just their time to get you back. And, you know, it's just something that they always look forward to. And it's fun for the counselors, especially on like a very hot day in the summer. So come prepared, bring a swimsuit, clothes that you don't mind getting wet a little bit, or just a spare change of clothes. Yeah, that's the biggest one, I would say. What piece of advice would you give to a future counselor?
I said earlier, like, make sure you're communicating with everyone all the time. In addition to that, be friendly with your counselors, like get to know them, like all your coworkers. Get to know them, sort of like try to build a rapport, have like friendly conversations. I don't know, just like the more comfortable you are with each other, the better you'll work together. And also like the more the campers will sort of like see you as a team instead of like two separate people. I'm thinking about like in the smaller groups when counselors are paired together.
You do, but there are days that you're just gonna be like overstimulated yourself, and the kids just aren't gonna be listening to like whatever you do, whatever you say. And you know, sometimes it is okay to just like step away, realize that you need a brain break, and it's okay to do that. Like, I think the most important thing is that you're communicating with your like co-counselors, or even if there's anyone like on admin that day that can maybe step in, be like, hey, I am overstimulated. These kids are like having me up to here right now. I just need to decompress and recenter myself just away from everything. Please take care of yourself first, because if you're not centered, you may say things, you may do things that you regret, and you know, that's not the best thing to do in front of kids. But yeah, take care of yourself.
Take time out of camp to prioritize healing within. Whatever that looks like for you, do it. There are going to be a lot of interactions with campers and counselors. You're going to be challenged to be a leader each day. Remember, some of these kids are experiencing camp for the first time. If you've ever been to camp when younger, who were your favorite counselors and how did they show up? What stood out to you about them? If you haven't been to camp before, think about your favorite teachers or adults. What were their shining moments? What stood out to you about them? And if you can internalize that, practice modeling that at camp.
Don't be afraid to branch out. I had a funny gimmick with the kiddos, and feel free to try this on them, but I would just like go up to run to them, maybe like not too close, but I'd go, turkey sandwich, I love turkey sandwiches. And they would eat that up, metaphorically. You can't physically give them a turkey sandwich.
The advice I would give you would be wear hats and sunscreen every day, because just like the kiddos, your skin needs to be protected. And when you're talking to a camper seriously about a conflict or problem, make sure you get on their eye level and speak with a calm but firm tone, because if you don't do that, they're probably not going to take you seriously as an authority. That would happen to me. And explain why what they're doing is not safe.
Kind of similarly, but also not the same as my last thing. Have fun. Camp is more for the kids, but it could also be for you. And there, you know, you may do things that are new to you too, that are really fun. And if the kids see that you're, you know, genuinely having fun, they're like, they can tell, you know, when it's genuine and when it's maybe a little forced. So really just try to find the fun in everything. Because at the end of the day, like, the kids are learning, they're building relationships, building trust skills, learning about the environment around them in a safe way, learning about their bodies and what feels safe for them to do. And if they see you having fun, they're gonna do it too. And, you know, see what feels right. And so yeah, I would say just have fun.